Hey guys, what's going on? It's good to see you're alive and well, and I hope this instance continues through the rest of eternity. Now, I have a question. Just why is it that we drive cars? Is it because it's faster? Maybe because you want to be protected from the elements while you're traveling. Or maybe it's because if you didn't drive, you'd have to run, bike, take the bus, or maybe even walk there. Personally, I think it's the last option. But hey, to each their own. Whatever specific reason you may have to drive a car, I'm pretty confident most of us do it because it's convenient. Convenience is the state of which we are able to proceed with something with little effort or difficulty. My friends, I'd like you all to take a second to think about all the things that make your life easier. Some of the things that take the load off our backs. We don't have to put as much effort. Think of all the things in your life that are convenient. Allow me to name a few. There's fast food, plastic or paper bowls, plates, or eating utensils. There's phones and computers, and then there's, the internet? You'd be surprised at how much destruction we could bring with just those few examples. Now, eventually we're going to get into each one of these topics in detail, but for now I want you to take a quick glance over the processes that we need to take in order to utilize these convenient utensils. So what's happening during our use of these products? Well, fast food often comes in wrappers or packaging that's more times than not thrown away and left in a landfill to rot for hundreds, if not thousands of years. Paper or plastic utensils aren't really treated with much more respect. These too, depending on materials, can end up in landfills for an excessive amount of time. Smartphones and computers are actually a very strange predicament because as time goes on, they become smaller and more efficient. But with each passing day, more and more people purchase these items, and oftentimes they too end up in landfills. And when it comes to electronic devices, it's not only about the physical space that they can take. Every single electronic device in existence requires electricity to operate. Electricity that's about 80% supplied by the burning of fossil fuels here in America. So yeah, doom and destruction, guys. And this is yet to even mention the things we are most likely to be doing on our electronic devices. Accessing the internet. The internet, as you may not but soon shall know, is a giant infrastructure of millions of servers that are communicating back and forth to each other, to you, and to every other person on the earth that's trying to access it simultaneously. Steve Ballmer, the now late CEO of Microsoft, revealed back when he had the throne in 2013 that Microsoft had a 1 million strong server infrastructure. He also revealed that Google has a slight edge over them and Amazon wasn't too far behind. That's 3 million servers in operation today, each drawing a substantial amount more power than your traditional laptop because so many people are trying to access it at once. Additionally, these devices are designed to be extremely reliable and constantly on, unlike your traditional laptop which runs off a battery. So efficiency is key for those devices to meet our battery life expectations. And this isn't even taking into consideration the thousands of other companies in the world that have their own server networks to keep themselves in touch with the modern world. Now, I'm certain we've all heard the phrase, "A life without blank is not a life worth living." Oftentimes, this phrase pertains to things that are not essential, like, Xboxes, pizza, or the most controversial drug in the world, marijuana. The reason non-essential things are used in this phrase is quite simple. Here's an example. A life without oxygen is not a life worth living because you die immediately. This phrase is something I like to call a cultural crutch because it is our attempt to justify the things that we know we could all pretty much go without. So I'm going to give you guys a 3-step questionnaire that I want you to apply every single time you want to do anything ever, and then see how good you feel about the things that you're doing once all these questions are answered. For the sake of an understandable scenario, I'm going to use the example mowing your lawn. The reason I want to use this is because, like other things, there are multiple ways you could achieve this, but only one way that is generally accepted. The first question I want you to ask is, what is my goal? Or what is it I'm trying to achieve? Now, this question may seem extremely simple, but you'd be surprised how much stuff we could do every single day without a basic understanding of what it is we're trying to get to. So right now, I'm trying to mow my lawn, so obviously I think I want my grass to be shorter. So my goal is to have shorter grass. The second question is, what resources must I utilize to achieve my goal? Now for this question, I want you to think about every single little thing that you have to use in order to get to where you want to be. And I mean everything. Now, for the sake of the example, we're gonna pretend that I own a traditional lawnmower, even though I don't even own a lawn. LOL. And with a lawnmower, we're probably gonna have to utilize gasoline at some point. Now, since we're using gasoline, odds are we're probably gonna end up using oil at some point. And then if you wanna take it a step further than that, you could even say after I'm done mowing my lawn, I'm probably gonna take a shower. So let's add water and soap to the list. Now I know what you're thinking, Troy, water and soap to mow your lawn? I'm unsubscribing and suing you. But guys, I'd like to reestablish the fact that I am a conservation extremist. Thus, I tend to think of the things that most people don't think of when it comes to the utilization of resources. That being said, let's continue. Now, the last and arguably most important question is, what are all the possible outcomes of my utilization of these resources? During this step, I want you guys to think hard about all the things that are directly and indirectly affected by your actions. Now, because we're using gasoline, I'm certain we could all agree that the CO2 levels in the air around me is going to rise. And we can even say the levels around the globe entirely will rise, because if we do it now, odds are this isn't going to be the only time we're going to do this. Now, this is probably the most obvious effects of what we're doing. We're cutting the grass, thus destroying a habitat that houses probably thousands, if not millions of insects and creatures that live below the view of what we can see. Now, I know we're only cutting the grass and not completely removing it, but keep in mind, cutting the grass shorter increases the dirt's exposure to the sun, thus interrupting some of the habitats that creatures down there might be accustomed to. Now, the worst part of all this, at least to me, is the fact that we have grass in the first place. Whoa, that came out of nowhere. Oh, don't focus on that for too long, because I'm going to dedicate an entire video to that statement, and soon it will all make sense. Now, just in case any of you thought that last bit was a little bit half-assed, I'm going to reintroduce the statement of us having to take a shower after we mow the lawn. Now, even if immediately afterwards we don't take a shower, the fact that we perform such labor pretty much guarantees at some point during that day, you're gonna end up bathing yourself. Now, who here uses warm water? What is warm? Me use hot. Exactly. Now, the majority of us use hot water to bathe or take a shower. And in case you didn't know, that water isn't pumped to your home hot and ready to go. You probably have a water heater somewhere in there. And that water heater is likely to be powered by, you guessed it, electricity. And we all know how that sentence ends, right? After we've established the effects of us achieving our goal, we determine if the ends justify the means. I'm sure we could all agree that a lot of us are gonna have different results depending on who we are as a person. Now, you're probably asking yourself, so what am I supposed to do? Do I just not mow my lawn? There's crabgrass everywhere. And this, my friends, is where the meaning of this entire video comes into play. Once you're willing to sacrifice the convenient route, you'll begin to think of other ways that you can get the job done. Once you've applied these questions to each scenario and figured out which one has the least negative effects, bam, you have your conservationist solution. Myself personally, I'm not okay with any of these negative effects, so by now I probably would have given my lawnmower to my neighbor and got myself a rolling trimmer, because those things are freaking awesome. Remember, by thinking twice about your actions and finding a less wasteful route to success, we could cut emissions, promote efficiency, and gain a life without destruction. I really hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Feel free to like and subscribe, but you don't have to, because no one's gonna watch this show anyways. Have an awesome day, guys. Peace out.